Okay, it's 7 o'clock. I'd like to call this September 29th Board of Supervisors meeting to order. Please rise to the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
To have a moment of silence. Okay, thank you. Is there any citizen participation at this time? And this would be for items that are on the agenda. Hearing none, we can move on to approval of the minutes. I'll make a motion to approve those minutes from the August 23rd, 2022 supervisor meeting. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Brad, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Persons to be heard, we have Mike, is it Gensemer?
Yeah.
From BIU, Building Inspection Underwriters, which is third party code inspection agency. Mike?
Yeah. It's Mike Gensemer. I work with it's building inspection underwriters. We have an office over here in New Bloomfield, and we are under contract with the COG. You guys are a member of the COG, and we do the inspections and plan reviews here in the township under the Uniform Construction Code. I try to get around periodically to meet the supervisors that we work for. I talk to Daisy pretty regularly, and she keeps me in line if anything is not. She comes to the COG meetings, and there's great communications between us and the township. Our office manager, Krista Lively, she's a Perry County native, local lady, and does a great job for us. And again, I'm here just to meet you guys, explain who I am, what we do, and to find out if there's anything that we can do better. Anything that you're not happy with what we're doing. We've had a couple instances here in the township over the years, and we've resolved them without too much trouble. We're very happy working here in Rye Township, and look forward to many more years.
Happy to have you, Mike. Thanks.
Good. Everything's going well as far as
From my standpoint?
as far as I know.
Any residents have comments, complaints?
I think we've done some work with the gentleman here, but he was telling me everything went well, so that's a good sign.
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike.
Hey, thank you.
Very much
Thanks for having me.
Okay, on to the monthly municipal reports, zoning code enforcement. So, we have about a dozen items here for a total of $1,088, $1,088.13. We're here if anyone would like to take a look. Sewage enforcement report. From Lenny Sizer, so we have two complaints, two the same.
I mean, two there that are the same amount.
Okay, so we have 6 events for a total of $1,050. roads for repair, perks, site visit, with property owner, pressure inspection. Will also be up here. Road report, Brad?
Mow along township roads, trim brush at Flasher Road, Reed Drive, we had complaints there, so we got that done. Call out for down trees on Pine Hill and New Valley Road. Patch various potholes, clean ditches on Idle Road and dirt part. Put children play signs up in Bellevue, we had to order those in. And clean up brush and stuff along Mountain Road and North Gap. And maintenance the chipper, and we help Luke out over here at the park, getting him squared away, he's been doing various things over at the park. Summer help. Good boy.
Is that it? Yep. All right, thank you. Emergency management report. I don't see Mike or Jim here. Oh, I did, sorry, I checked too quick. Rec board.
Okay. Well, we are holding our last event of the year, which will be Halloween at the park, and it runs from 6 to 8 p.m. And that is on October 15th. And we will have a haunted trail, hayride, costume judging, and of course, food and snacks for the children who attend. We do have a rain date of the following day, October 16th, and then it will start at 5 p.m. We're hoping we get it in on the Saturday, though. It'll be so much easier. So please, if you can, come out, enjoy your time, and it's always a good night for the kids in the township.
Okay.
Okay?
Apologize again for skipping past that, thank you. Okay, now, emergency management report, which we don't have Mike or Jim here this evening. We heard from Jim?
Not
No,
recently,
okay,
no,
okay.
I haven't. I've heard
Okay.
from Mike, but I've been in touch with him about the fireman's
Okay.
review.
Financial treasurer's report, please.
Okay, the general checking account at Mid-Penn Bank began with a balance August 1st of $197,051.51. Had receipts of $74,956.49. Expenditures of $54,478.35. Interest earned of $93.52. Leaving us a balance September 1st in the general checking account of $217,623.17. There is a general checking account at Pennian Bank, and we moved quite a bit of the money out of that, and it now has a balance with a little bit of interest August 1st, it should be September 1st, of $2,039.39. The general savings account had only interest activity and had a balance September 1st of $2,510.62. American Rescue Plan Fund's money market account had only interest activity and had a balance September 1st of $125,296. This was prior to the second distribution, so remember this was September 1st. Our second distribution did come in through ACH transfer on September the 9th. So we do have that money in there now. We have the total amount. But as of the 1st, it was $125,296. Liquid fuels checking began with a balance August 1st of $540.75. A minimal interest of $2.05. And I took a matured CD from the Bank of Landisburg of $8,810.91 and dumped it into the into the liquid fuels checking in anticipation of payment of the road projects. There were no expenditures. I just received the invoice from New Enterprise, and I do need to get. There's a couple documents that I'm missing yet that are needed. So The balance is September 1st in liquid fuels checking was $9,353.71. And you will see on tonight's agenda that I'm also moving some additional funds in there because you don't get a lot of work done for $9,300. Bank of Landisburg Liquid Fuel Savings Account had only interest activity and had a balance September 1st of $2,664.36. This is the end of the third quarter, and the third quarter tax distributions are on the register for payment tonight to the fire companies, the ambulance, and the library. And also the liquid fireman's relief fund monies just came in from the state, and I was talking to Mike Wu about that. He is now, the Marysville Fire Company, he's also the treasurer for fireman's relief. It's a separate fund, and it has to be kept by a different person than the treasurer for the actual fire company. So I was getting his information because he just took that position on this year. We had another gentleman for quite a few years, Mr. Gensemer. So anyway, those monies are on for payment tonight, also on the check register. They have to go out within so many days, and I just got it and I'm going to give it to them because I know they need it. If you have any other questions, let me know, but that's all I have.
Bank of Landisburg, we've got two accounts there, $2,510 and $26.64. Both minimal amounts. Is there any reason why we need to have those at Landisburg, and can we move them into something where we have our other funds, just so it's easier to follow? Is there a reason why
The
Landisburg?
liquid fuels, I do need that on there.
Okay.
That is what we keep our money in. We get a little more interest on that, and that is, I mean, I could change it, but that is the account that the state has to give us our allocation. And we actually get a little more interest than it was in Marysville, which was Marysville then, it's mid-pay now, so we moved that.
Okay, but at the end of the day, 34 cents, or even if they double it.
Right.
But I'm sorry, so you're saying that there's something that,
Yes, it's connected to our state liquid fuels allocation.
okay.
That's where the money gets dumped into that.
And we can't change that?
I could.
Okay.
I don't know where you want it to go though.
Oh, I'm just thinking, these other banks are either closer or.
It
at
has
least
to
we use.
stay separate in the liquid fuels account.
Oh, right, but it can go to a mid-pen or a penny. Am I misunderstanding something? It would just be a separate account.
Right. It
Okay.
would be it would still be a separate account, whether it's a Bank of Landisburg or your bank.
Hmm.
Yeah. It would still have to be separate from all the other accounts. And we initially moved it because Marysville was paying like 0.03%. Of course, now that's changed. Who knows, almost all of the accounts I have, the interest rate is going up. They haven't been too quick to put the rates up for money market yet. They've gone up slightly at Bank of Landisburg. It was 0.10, now it's 0.15. But it was 0.20 and 0.25 initially when that account was taken out, and Marysville wasn't giving us like 0.05. It isn't that much, but we can look at it and I can see what they offer maybe next year when we get our allocation.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it's a matter of who gives a better interest rate when it's $1,000. To simplify things and make them easier to. Okay, was that it, Daisy?
Yeah, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to resolutions, so we have resolution 22-24, Act 57.
Okay, this is, Act 57 was passed by Governor Wolf on July 11th. They had sent us notice out then, and I figured it was going to be kind of called attention to and taught at the convention. And I know the tax collectors were told about it, and also we were told about it in the session that we were in. PSATS has put together a resolution that, because Governor Wolf signed Act 57 of 2022, amending the local tax collection law, and it takes effect on October 10th. So we need to put together this resolution to direct our elected tax collector that beginning in January 1st, 2023, they have to grant a request to waive additional charges for real estate taxes if the taxpayer does all of the following: provides a waiver request of additional charges on the form provided by the State Department of Community and Economic Development to the tax collector in possession of the claim within 12 months of a qualifying event, attests that the tax notice was not received, and provides the tax collector in possession of the claim with one of the following: a copy of the deed showing the date of real estate transfer, or a copy of the title following the acquisition of a mobile or manufactured home subject to taxation as real estate showing the date of issuance, or a copy of an executed lease agreement between the owner of a mobile or manufactured home and the owner of a parcel of land on which the mobile or manufactured home will be situated showing the date the lease commences, and pays the face value amount of the tax notice, the real estate tax, with the waiver request. So they have those 4 things that they must give to the tax collector. And I do know I've had complaints from people that did not get their tax notice, and then they're penalized for it. Through the years, I have had that. I mean, it's frustrating when you don't even know what you owe, and then you think, well, where is it? But that's what this is trying to help. They have to provide proof and attest to certain things and some documents and pay the face amount. But from what I understand, they will be able to waive the additional charges that are put on the bill. So that's what this is for, directing Becky to do that for Rye Township in compliance with Act 57. That's a long about an explanation.
So there's really not an option for us.
You have to
It's
do
just
something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think our people would want us to do something.
Okay. Someone want to make a motion to approve resolution 22-24?
So moved.
Okay, second? All in favor? Aye. Thank you, Daisy.
You're welcome.
Sir, I'm sorry, can you sign in? We have a sign-in sheet here, just so we know who all is here, because it becomes part of the record. If you don't mind. Thank you. Yes, please. Okay, moving on to resolution 2225, transfer highway aid CD monies at Penn to highway aid checking at Mid-Penn Bank when the check is processed.
Right, these are, 2 CDs that are in, easy access municipal CDs, so there's no penalty for pulling them out. I wanna pull them out when we we have the bill now, but I have to figure out, like I said, I've got it, there's a couple documents that are missing. There's a form that needs to be signed, and, before we pay this, and then I need to figure out what I'm going to need from these 2 and the other one that's already in there. And then it also says, it'll be deposited in the Penn Bank Highway Aid checking account to assist with payment of the paving project, with the remainder, so whatever is left of the funds to be invested in a short-term CD in the near future with authorization in a separate resolution, because I know, especially the state auditors like to be able to trail that money and state monies like that. So this is just going to be taking them out when I'm ready to cut the check, or when I actually cut the check, and then depositing them in Mid-Penn, so that that check is covered. And then figuring out, well, I'll have another resolution. I don't know what we'll have left. Just say there's $20,000 left. I'm going to put it in an easy access CD because it's right now at 1.5%. So, but it's still accessible for next year's project.
Okay.
So that's what this one is all about.
Okay. Motion to approve resolution 2225?
I'll make that draft.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. Resolution 2226, transfer of matured MS4 stormwater and comp plan CDs at Bank of Landisburg to Penny Bank for a better rate of investment return.
These are two CDs that are maturing a couple weeks from now. And the stormwater has $32,494 in it approximately. The comp plan has $17,478. Currently, they are getting a measly 0.20%, so I can't wait to take them out. I want to put them into 18-month CDs at 2.40%. And that's for both of them. That way, if they decide they want to, I know they keep saying they want to work on the comp plan as soon as they get all these zoning issues taken care of, which maybe that will be the following year, and then it could come into play for that budget year. That was
Okay.
my thought.
Well, I was just making a comment about moving stuff from Landisburg to Penny, so I'll make a motion to adopt this resolution 2226. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Brad, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, really?
Thank you. Two signatures.
Okay.
Resolution 22-27, which is transfer of $125,000 of ARP monies from general fund money market at Penny Bank into the capital reserve fund brokered CD at Penny Bank designated as ARP monies.
Right, and like I said, I just read you the amounts was slightly over $125,000. And what I also want to do with that is take that and put it into a brokered CD, which right now is paying over 4%. So that could net us $5,000. And the ARP money interest is ours. I don't have to account for it. So that is our money. So if I can generate $5,000 in 1 year, I think that would be most helpful because everything is going up. I'm not getting one thing that's coming down when I'm looking at budget. And also, I want to also take, since there's approximately now, when I look online, there's approximately over $250,000 in there in our ARP monies. I want to also take $100,000 of that and put it into an easy access municipal CD. That way that is accessible, and not put it all in the brokered CD because that is not accessible. That way if something would come up next year, earlier in the year, whatever, keeps some of it more liquid. But between the two, it looks like if it's in for a year at 1.5 is 11 months. So really the APY, you're not going to get exactly 1.5% because that's for 12 months. But normally it's easy access, so it'll just roll over. So if we leave it in for the year, that can net us like $6,500 that we could get in interest for next year's budget.
We have a motion to approve resolution 2227.
So moved.
All in favor? Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
And your hands get tired.
Oh, every time.
I'm sorry, I mean, I'm not really sorry, but there's just a lot of trying to move this money around, and every time I check, it's going up. And I did want to let you know that the $560,000 that I had permission to do last month, I waited on that because the feds were going to put the interest rate up. And I went from a 3%, which is what I said in the resolution, which is what I knew at the time, up to the 4%. So that was really helpful to wait till after the feds increase the rate. It's going to increase again, but we can't wait forever. If I can get 4%, I haven't had 4%.
In a long time.
I mean, we're limited what we can do, so, anyway. The next one is just a renewal resolution with Penways to extend the contract that we have for cardboard recycling hauling. The current price is $320. They have held that for 2 years for us.
320 a container.
320 a haul, yes, a container. We only have one container. So, excuse me. When he first gave me the amount, he wanted to charge us $365, excuse me, for the next 2 years. So I let it go a little bit, and then I emailed him and said, Joel, is there any kind of wiggle room in that? If you could do just a little bit better for us? And he sent back a couple of days later and said he would go with 2023, $345, and 2024, $360. So he kind of graduated it for us, so we don't take the hit all at once, which I didn't think that's really a whole lot, because they're going the whole way to York. They're taking care of that, and the diesel fuel is not come down much.
Yeah, what do we typically pay for the year?
Yeah, how many?
Last year, wasn't it, Nancy, we just looked at that for that recycling grant. I think it was only 6 pools last year.
What was that again?
When we were looking at the recycling grant to
Yeah.
get the documents together for the cardboard, there were only 6 pools.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
all.
those-
It wasn't that many.
Now, I do think it's increased a little bit. I mean, it does seem like people are using it a little more. Do you think so, Brad? You stand down there probably more than I do. I get more calls about it this year anyway.
Okay.
And to find somebody that's willing to do it, I'm not sure you're gonna find anybody else. They actually have a recycling facility there at Pavement.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2228.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
And if you would sign 2 originals, that way I'll send one to them and they'll attach to the contract. And then I'll get the new certificate of liability and the new insurance, all that stuff.
Moving on to new business, approved 2023 MMO non-uniform pension as follows. 2023 non-uniform 18558. CB2.
Cash balance.
Cash, okay. Of 0.
Yeah. Act 205 of 1984 requires that I present the board the minimum municipal obligation. We call it the MMO for short. And that's really the bill for the pension. It has gone up considerably this year. I was not pleased with it. I called and spoke to the woman that was in charge of the department, and she actually consulted with the CFO because she didn't understand why it had gone up. But we found 2 things out. Last year, if you notice, I had 2 MMOs for our non-uniform. They combined those together. So they put it all into one MMO for us. So I'm thinking our MMO was 4,600 last year. No, our MMO was over 9,700. So it wasn't quite as big as a shock when I looked at it. But what's happened too is we had a new actuarial come into play. We have new people over at PMRS. Our plan is very complex and detailed. So I did call them, and I was on the phone with them several days, probably for at least an hour the one day, because she kept telling me this and this. I said, that doesn't apply, it doesn't apply. And finally she said, Daisy, I really don't know, I don't understand this. And I said, well, I'm not an actuarial, I don't understand everything either, but what I do know, it's not making sense to me. So she took it back to the chief financial officer, and he's a CPA. He just started there at the beginning of the year. And that's when he told me they combined everything into the one, which I understand that. So the cost factor went up on it. Our cost factor before was 1349, 0.1349. It had gone up to 0.1849. And I asked them to please, I wanted to get to see their calculations, but they did find a mistake, and they took it down to point, I think it's 0.1763. So it's like, a percent that it went down, which did help. other thing I know is that out on the website, their actuarial assumptions for calculating their plan cost, they've changed them. There are new, you can go out and look at it, it's an administrative bulletin that's out there, but their assumptions applied as of January 1st, 2021. So they are just getting around now because PMRS has been behind on a lot of things. And they're just getting around to instituting the new assumptions. There's assumptions for inflation, assumptions for salary increase, assumptions for disability rates, retirement rates, mortality rates change. So all of those things are assumed. They may be assumed high for us. I don't know, but they have to draw the line somewhere, and put those assumptions into play. Like I said, I really never did a lot of actuarial accounting. I was never involved in that field. But it is what it is. They said inflation, I said inflation shouldn't enter in. We don't have COLAs, our police do, but non-uniform does not have COLAs. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of background on that. The good thing is that we do get state aid of over $10,000, so that does help pay for it. The last 2 years, we dumped in all of our state aid and paid the MMO. So we've done all that we can to administer it and keep the costs down for everybody. I'm hoping, this is 1 year, the actuarial. Every 2 years is a new actuarial and new assumptions, new things. I'm hoping that the next actuarial will balance this all out for us. That they'll see something that maybe they didn't see this time. I don't know. That's my hope, that it will balance out and come down for us. And the cash balance plan, that is for new hires. So we haven't had any new hires, so that is a zero. Our police MMO that we accepted last time is zero. That is a very plush plan. Our plan is not underfunded. It is actually overfunded slightly. It's probably like I'm going to say close to 115% funded. So it is funded, but the new assumptions really pulled down the surplus for us. So that's the only thing I could see. So that's my explanation. I just wanted you to know, and that amount will be on our budget.
Okay, thanks, Daisy.
So you want to make a motion?
Yeah.
I don't know, we
Was
have
that
a
hand-
choice.
Was that a motion?
We may
I'll
put
second
the
your
numbers
way.
here.
I'll make the motion.
Second, Brad?
What else you gonna do?
Yeah.
Right. It's like everything else. That's what I said. I really spent time with people trying to figure it out.
Thanks for that, Daisy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, motion for salvage yard license renewals 2022 and 23 for Michaels and Bear. Is there anything more to, you said Brian's got a little bit more work to do for final
Yes,
inspections, but we can approve these. Bear's in here. Is it there? It's not there.
Pretty
It's getting close.
I bet it's getting close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and Michael's much longer.
Way longer than that.
Yeah. We haven't had
He's a
any.
much smaller operation.
Yeah.
I've never had any complaints.
Either.
No,
Either.
not about the junk. I've had some water and stuff running on the road, but
Okay, I'll make the motion to approve the license renewals subject to Brian's inspection reports. Yeah, acceptable inspection.
okay.
I'll second.
All in favor? Motion to designate trick or treat night, October 27th. And you said that's in line with Marysville, same
It
day?
is.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Rain date of October 31st. Who wants to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. October 6th is gonna be the budget workshop. We still, yeah, okay, sorry, announcements. October 6th at 6:30 PM is our first budget workshop. October 10th, closed for Columbus Day holiday. There's no change in trash collection schedule. October 5th, as Nancy was telling us, is Halloween in the park from 6 to 8 p.m. Rain date of October 16th, 5 p.m. And then the second budget workshop, right, and, second budget workshop is 6:30 p.m. on the 20th. And do we have the third, the reserve dates?
That's the first Thursday in November, if we need it.
Okay.
They're all Thursday for the budget,
Are those budget meetings on the calendar? Because I didn't see them yet.
Not yet.
Can they be placed on the calendar?
They will be when I get the clinks worked out, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, that's part of the problem I was having, getting things out there.
Thank you.
All right, approval and payment of the bills. Daisy, if you could take us through that, please.
Sure. General fund checks 17437 to 17467, the amount of $35,022.24. Void check 17442 in the amount of $703.81. That was a duplicate. We actually received two bills, so one was a letter and one was invoice. So I don't know why they mailed it, but anyway, that's what happened. Payroll checks 8102 to 8106 in the amount of $4,113.01. Payroll checks 8107 to 8112 in the amount of $4,233.97, and there were no payroll checks for you.
Motion to approve payment of bills. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Brad, second. All in favor? Thank you for that, Daisy. Okay, moving on to second citizen participation, and this is for items that were either on the agenda or not on the agenda. Do you have any?
No, I have one, but is there anyone else that was signed up to do it? Because I don't want to.
No.
I didn't sign up, but I do just have one thing.
Okay.
There's stones on 850 on the road,
Okay.
like washing out around a turn.
Is it by Wallach Lane? Is that Wallach Lane?
I don't know. I figured you guys would know where it is,
Yeah, I know.
but there's a whole bunch of stones.
By Cemetery Road?
Yeah.
That's
Is
our lane, yeah, that's a private drive.
Is that what you're thinking, Jackie?
I think.
I think you're talking about it between Flowers and Cemetery, or
Yeah, it might
in that
be. It's
area.
around
South
the bend.
below you come up out of that bend and you go up towards Flowers. It's on the inside of the curve. Is what I'm guessing you're talking about.
Yeah.
I've seen that as well.
Flowers.
Yeah, like
That
they're
would be the-
hitting my
coming
car.
Where P&R is.
That's not coming off the property.
No,
The,
I don't know if that's coming off where that greenhouse used to be.
Yeah.
That's where I was working.
And it might
Where
be
the greenhouse
running
was,
down
John?
it, or else it's coming.
I'm
from-
assuming that's where she's talking about because I've seen lots of stones there too.
State's been out there several times.
I actually called the state one day about that, because somebody called and said we had had a storm, and it actually came out onto the road.
It's on the road.
And they were worried about motorcycles. So I
Yeah,
called
it's slippery. Like there's a bunch of gravel going across the road. Like there's a bunch on the side, but it's coming.
and it's there now.
Yeah.
You want me to get hold of you, Bloomfield?
Would you
again?
please? Thanks, Jackie.
Yeah.
They should do something to fix that problem. So they keep coming out and scraping this thing off. That's the problem.
So that's where I'm not thinking, because doesn't it come off of our lane a bunch of times? That's what I recall seeing it a bunch.
There was some there.
There was, but I think it's done there.
That's not where she's.
Oh, yeah, no, I know this is a different one, it's just I don't recall where Jackie's
Yep,
talking about
that
that.
does
Is that a new
work.
thing coming?
Yep.
Okay, thanks, Jackie.
Probably got the rust with it right now.
When we get that rain season.
And if everyone else is done, I saw the check register didn't include a payment for our lease for the park. So I'm pretty sure that lease payment is normally due at the end of September. So I just want to remind you of that. Next one I have is, I was wondering why the meeting was moved and what conflict occurred that the meeting had to be moved, and then we had to re-advertise and everything since it was only advertised a month ago. So I was
Yeah,
wondering.
that was a
Can you explain
personal
it?
conflict on my part, so that's what it was.
Okay. Can you provide an update or information on the DEP memo that you mentioned last month about the Mountain Road culverts? Any
Yeah,
update?
that's, as we said in the previous meeting, that was being handed to the engineer, and then it was gonna be handled between the engineer and our solicitor, and at this point, we don't have resolution on
Haven't
it.
got-
It's,
Haven't gotten anything back yet?
no.
Okay.
we don't.
Was there anything in it about, what was it about, anything? Do you-
How do you mean?
I didn't, all you said was it was from DEP, so I didn't know if there was any information you could give us about what was in it.
I don't know if we can comment on it or no at this point.
I mean,
because we don't
I
know.
would just wait for the engineer, Max, right?
Yes.
To get back, because I haven't heard, and he's not here, tonight either, so I would hope by next meeting,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had any correspondence.
I do have a question for the solicitor about right to know requests. I was wondering what time frame is it that you have to respond? I know that 5 days, but what if somebody's out on vacation? Is it still that they need to be responding by 5 days for the time frame that the office is open?
You mean the officer itself? The
Yes.
township officer?
Yeah. 'Cause
My
trying to read-
understanding and even my research is that when that officer receives it itself, so if they are not in, I've seen, that it is when that person gets it. Now, good point, you can't avoid it, though, you know what I mean?
Right,
You can't
I'm also
dodge it
worried.
either.
I'm
So-
also
so I
worried if
think-
that person
I
is
haven't
out
seen
for a
those
month
kind
or
of,
something.
John, so I haven't seen those kinds of, situations where somebody, avoiding it. What I've seen is that if somebody was out, kind of, if you mentioned a day or two, that would go that extra day or two.
Right.
But I also don't think somebody can try and avoid.
Right.
you
But
know,
there was a time it
yeah,
was like
right.
5 days that person was out, and that was like,
Right.
So-
Because what I've seen is, like a day,
Oh, yeah.
with regard to that, but, I haven't seen anything where it gets into, something, well, that's really not reasonable, that's well beyond that,
right.
so, that's kind of what I've just seen, kind of a day or
That's what I've
two,
read.
based on, an ill, the person isn't,
Mhm.
ill or something like that, that then it would just extend that day or two.
Yeah.
Not something, though,
Mhm.
lengthy,
Right.
Exactly.
And-
even
A week,
what
I
I've
think,
seen,
seems.
what I've seen is
pretty
really only like a day, a day.
Yeah, a day or
nothing
two, no
longer
one's-
than that.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, not
I was
like
out
a
on
week.
vacation for a week, and I was out of state, so I did not get it till the following Monday, that's what.
I also haven't had to look into something like
Yeah.
that, so,
It-
I'm
is-
just saying what what I've seen, so,
Yeah.
I was
You
told
know,
when
that's-
it was, when it's actually received on a business day.
Is there a mitigation, like some agencies might have 2 people or somebody that receives it and can gather the documents if they don't have just one ORO? I'm just wondering, I don't know what the,
And I would wonder if it is some bigger, some bigger township
Mhm,
district,
yeah.
something along those lines, but
Mhm.
I would also think that sometimes there really isn't somebody there that may be addressed for some smaller ones. And obviously you get smaller than.
Right.
Yeah,
here,
I
yep.
think the
Rye
practical,
Township.
practical end of it also is, we're a small township.
Mhm.
We've got
Oh,
one
yeah.
person that is acting as the open records officer.
Oh, yeah.
When Daisy is on vacation,
Mhm.
we all want to pay
And,
it.
and no one wants to file an appeal just because you didn't get something back.
Right, and so
'Cause it's a pain in the
Nancy,
butt to do
Nancy
that.
then fills in for her, and Nancy's,
I do
Trying to
not
keep up,
answer
so
her
she's busy.
email.
yeah, so,
Boy.
yeah, it wasn't a purposeful avoidance.
Oh.
I think as soon as Daisy was
I just
back
want to
in-
make sure we're following
I was out
what
of state.
our solicitor
This
says,
was
so.
not-
Right.
Okay.
That's not a question.
Referring, right to know what?
I'm sorry.
I'm not familiar with this, right to know what? I don't know what. you're
Our
referring to.
solicitor could probably give a better response to, I know.
I didn't know what you were talking about, like I didn't understand what you were talking about.
Filing right to know requests for documents or, things that need to be
Oh,
disclosed, that's what it concerns, a right to know request.
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't explain that.
No, I didn't know what you were talking about.
Okay. I noticed the meetings went extra late last month. Is there a reason they went so late? I mean, was it closed to the public?
Well,
I didn't know
The
because I
public
asked.
meeting, no, when the meeting adjourned, the official meeting adjourned, if we sit here and shoot the bull because of hey, we're neighbors, we're friends,
sign the check.
Well, not just that, and I was here too, and I will definitely say there wasn't any even deliberation or anything like that, you know, or anything like that would have been going on. It was my first night, you know, also
Is
being
Max
here,
was
but I'm
there?
also, you know, also very, yes, and the engineer though as well. I don't think that, as far as me being here, that, I don't think that's going to be
Right.
something common unless, right, shooting the ball, you know, with you, but I don't foresee that, you know, as the common thing, but of course, you guys, hey, you know, talking about various things, but not deliberating or official act, those types of things, you would know you cannot do, yes.
Yeah, I'd say that's.
I think it was an
especially-
unusual, yeah, I think that it was an unusual, for one thing for me, you know, even the first night type of thing, and I think that's also correct, even Max, because Max was here a little bit afterwards too, so.
Okay, well, thank you for explaining. Can you explain about the trash? I know there was some questions that came up on Facebook about trash, like, how does that process go? If we have an issue, do we contact Penn Waste, or do we contact here, and who would they push it back
I'm
to?
not familiar with what you're talking about.
Okay.
Trash problem, so
there
that's
is-
somebody else.
I'm not familiar
Yes.
with.
Okay, well, there was an issue that, I guess, 2-3 weeks ago, a whole bunch, must have been another truck driver on, and they didn't pick up a whole stretch of New Valley Road. And I guess some of them were like, hey, why is our trash not getting picked up?
That's about 3
So-
weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't know,
The regular guy was on vacation. They had some guy who just wanted to get it done, and he missed entire roads.
but people weren't notified that, hey, leave your trash out for the next week. So I was wondering, what is the process? Like, are we to contact the township or Penn Waste, and are they gonna contact us, or
That's the
what?
first time
So-
we've run into a problem with Penn Waste.
Right, so that's why I'm asking the process, so that we can do it right, so.
They called
Yeah.
Penn Waste, which is fine,
Mhm.
and they can call here because I just contact the route supervisor.
Yeah, and did they come back, what happened, were they just
Um,
the next week?
They came back the next day.
Okay,
And the phones
Okay.
were busy. I do remember that day, the phones were busy.
Right,
So it
and
sounds
I know they didn't
Get
get an
out,
email,
they
that's
come
why.
together.
Their biggest issue that I saw was they didn't get a notification, like, hey, yes, they did miss a whole area, so leave it out, so.
yeah.
That's why I'm just bringing it to your attention, what other people have
Appreciate
said.
that, John, yeah, that, again, that was a one-off, I
Mm-hmm.
certainly hope it was a one-off,
I hope so.
and, yeah, because Penn Waste has actually been, as a supplier of the township, I think, has been exceptional.
Even with all the labor problems.
Yeah, so that's, you know, but thanks for bringing that to
Okay.
us, because again.
I only have 2 more, and they're pretty short. Who determines what paint lines we are installing and where they're getting their information for single yellow lines are acceptable? So who determines it, and where are they getting it that we're gonna put down single yellow lines if that's acceptable? So,
Yeah, we'll have a discussion on that. I know it's come up in the past. There's reasons why we don't, it's not just a monetary thing, there's. Oh, sorry about that.
right.
Yeah, let us get with our solicitor and talk
Okay.
on that.
'Cause
I know
I'll-
it's been a-
Yeah, because we aren't supposed to be putting down single yellows on the road, so.
Yeah, I've seen it in other areas though too, and I'm not sure what the.
The
It
the
is
law,
recommended,
Yeah.
okay?
No.
A double yellow line, it is
Yeah.
recommended.
it's either
Yeah. 0
or 2, and if
Yeah.
you want me to send you the information so the solicitor
No,
can
I
see
don't.
it straight out,
I don't want
it's
to-
not a 1.
Yeah.
It's either a 0 or a 2, so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, and you have one more, John?
Yep, one more. I saw online about Sylvester's. They're looking at making it available that they can sell $4 bags for recycling, and they were going to be reaching out to the municipalities about, I guess, putting dumpsters out in
So
those
on our- I'm sorry,
locations.
you saw it on our website or?
No, not here.
Oh,
On,
okay.
like Perry County Talk, people shared that, hey, Sylvester's is doing this. If Sylvester's reaches out and says they'd like to put a dumpster in this area so that they can collect it and then they come and empty it and everything like that, are we in favor of that or not? I didn't know. I was wondering if you could,
Would you do me a favor, John, that, you have a link to that?
I can find it.
Could you email that to me?
Sure.
I'm not on that website, so I'm
Mhm.
not familiar with it, but.
But yeah, would we be in favor? I mean, that's all they told us was people buy the bags and then they come and collect it. It's kind of like what they do up in Carroll Township,
Yes.
so.
Okay. Yeah, send me that link if you wouldn't mind, and then, yeah, because we can talk about, I don't know if it even fits for us or
Mhm.
not, I don't know all the details behind it. Is that it?
That's all that I have for tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, John, and anyone else? Hearing none, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting, do we have a
Did you
second?
want to welcome these young ladies?
Oh, yeah, well, that's why I wasn't sure, and I apologize, wasn't trying to ignore you, I didn't know, you ladies were just gonna talk with the township afterward? Okay, yeah, we'll do it afterward, we'll adjourn the meeting, again, wasn't trying to ignore you, I wasn't quite sure, where we're at with that, so yeah, so I'll make the motion to adjourn our meeting, do we have a second?
I'll say.
Brad, second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, meeting is adjourned.